The fallout continues after the city of Sarasota's decision last night not to let voters decide if elections should be moved from March when only a fraction of voters turn out. ABC 7's Ray Collins has reaction from both sides of this very important issue. Ray?
Very important. It involves tax dollars, Haley, and as some say, a very unusual phrase, the quality versus the quantity of voters.
I move approval.
Is there a second? Hearing none. Motion dies for lack of a second.
What was your reaction when no one backed your motion?
Frankly, I was stunned.
Suzanne Atwell was the only commissioner Monday night who wanted to ask voters if they want to move city elections from March to November.
I was hoping for further discussion, and I was quite frankly summarily dismissed.
Atwell and others point out that turnout in March is only about 15% on average, whereas in November, it's usually 4 times that number. But the other side says they'd rather have fewer voters who know who they're voting for than a larger number of voters who are there for other elections as well.
If you put this in a general election cycle, it moves to the bottom of the ballot. These really critically important issues for us locally then do not get the coverage and conversation that it deserves.
Among the 4 who voted against the move was Commissioner Shelley Freeland Eddy, who herself was elected with less than 1,000 votes. So why did she vote against giving voters the choice? She said she had too many questions.
Questions about whether or not there's greater voter turnout in November of even-numbered years versus odd-numbered years, and questions as to whether or not the voters want to change at all. So based upon all of that, I felt like there were more questions than answers and that I needed more information.
But when the mayor asked for questions, she only had one.
Any further questions?
Just one.
Actual suspects mobilized.
One person not staying silent is taxpayer watchdog Matt Woodall, who plans a petition drive to force this issue to the ballot. And he says he's optimistic.
And there literally isn't anyone that we speak with that says they're against it.
And Atwell hopes he's right.
And a lot of that is how they move quickly on it, and we'll see what happens.
Well, quick indeed. A petition will be due back 6 months before the general election, and that would mean by May 8th rather, they need over 3,000 signatures, Haley.
That could be tough. And Ray, with an average of 15% turnout for these March elections, how expensive is that for taxpayers?
Well, when you factor in the cost of the election and the lack of voters, relatively speaking, each vote costs taxpayers about $9.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Ray.